offense sucked. He didn't get any targets the first 8 weeks of the year. The offense sucked. Now he gets targets, and the offense still sucks, and people want to blame A.J. Brown. The offense just sucks, guys. It doesn't matter who they're targeting. Welcome in, everybody, to the JAKIB postgame show here. The Philadelphia Eagles moved to 8-2 on the season with a 16-9 victory over the Detroit Lions in one of the ugliest, weirdest games. I did not expect this game to look like that. A lot of positives, a lot of negatives. We'll get into all of them, but the good news is the Eagles will get the win, and they moved to 8-2 on the year and are now on the fast track to getting first place in the NFC. I'm joined now by Dan Cilio, host of the National Football Show from 2 to 6 every single day, Monday through Friday. We'll be joined a little later on in the show by John McMullen. Big Sills coming right to you. Eagles get the win in a much-anticipated game of the regular season today. What'd you make of it, my friend? Your first thoughts?
Congratulations. You have now become the team that is winning games because of their defense and not because of their overpriced, overpaid offensive football team that you have, an overrated offensive football team. There is no doubt that defensive football was absolutely a masterclass by Vic Fangio. I mean, Jalen Phillips has been an incredible addition to that team. Davis and Carter had sensational ball games. They were absolutely amazing. Every single thing you want to give with high praise to the way Vic brought pressure, everything. Now, when it comes to your shitty offense, once again, it is absolutely the worst show on turf. The quarterback is limited. He's terrible. And congratulations. You are solely winning football games because of your fabulous defense and your great defensive coordinator. Rams are the best team in football right now. It ain't that one-dimensional defensive football team because you guys basically can't get out of your own way on offense, and your coach is going to eventually cost you something, bro. You don't have the same people in the offensive line. You kept them in a ball game by going forward on fourth down. So, again, congratulations. Great praise for Vic. Brutal praise, or I should say ripping, on that absolutely awful offense that you have.
Yeah, we'll start with all of that. A lot of great stuff to talk about here, as you heard in Sill's opening remarks. Defense, a lot of good. Offense,
amazing.
A lot of bad. Nick Sirianni, not great, leaving him in the game. By the way, let's just start with this real quick. I got to say it. I know fans are going to jump on me about this because they just want to win the game, and I get it. I hate winning the game on that shoddy call like that. That pass interference call to end the game on Rock Ya-Sin. By the way, he had a great game today in man coverage on A.J. Brown, and they called that shit call on him. That was a stupid call, a stupid flag, an uncatchable ball, another bad throw from Jalen Hurts, one of many that he had tonight. Just a bad call there. I don't like, as a football fan, I don't like watching games end like that, but it did end like that. That was a pretty bad call there, Big Sills.
Absolutely. I mean, listen. At the end, they hopefully all add up the way that you're hoping that it adds up, where, the games are going to be officiated. And I'm not one to hang a game on officials, but, I mean, look, the way that they missed that tush push when it came to calling Steen on that too, that was a terrible call by the officials. It's just not been a really good week.
I'm not here to say it was
no, I get it.
One way or the other. I just mean in that moment where Detroit did what they needed to do to get the ball back, and then they make that call. It is what it is. Birds win the game, guys, 16-9. I'll give you some numbers. We'll get into the positive and the negative of the game a little bit later on. We'll talk to John McMullen. We'll get to all the super chats tonight. It'll be a fun post-game show. There
won't be very much positive on the offense. It's all going to be a defensive show here. So for me,
there's not much positive.
For me, guess what? That's really what I love to talk about is defense, because your trash offense tonight kept that team in that football game. And I got to tell you, bro, they look as good as they did a year ago. I mean, they're picking up. And the opponents that they beat in 1 week in a 7-day period. I mean, Sandra, you're talking about holding Green Bay to 7. You held them to 9 points in this ball game. That's a heck of a job, man. By the way, also, too, something to keep an eye on moving forward. The loss of Lane Johnson and Cam Jurgens, that's something moving forward, too, because as we talk always about the Eagles having great health, these next couple games coming up here are also going to play a factor if these guys are going to be out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Definitely all good factors. Sills, I'm going to give you some numbers, something we talked about on the shows this week. All right. And it stood out today and it came true today. We said if you can take away the Detroit's running game, you're going to put yourself in a position to win. Well, the Eagles did that and some. Jahmyr Gibbs had 12 carries for 39 yards. Obviously, had a lot of reception yards. David Montgomery had 6 carries for 27 yards. They combined, Sills, 21 carries for 74 total yards on the ground. How about this stat line? Jared Goff was 14 of 37 for 255 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick. Obviously, the pick that happened earlier in the game. Jahmyr Gibbs did have 5 receptions for 107 yards. That guy's a hell of a football player. Jamison Williams, 4 for 88. Moving to Amon-Ra St. Brown, 2 for 42. He was pitiful tonight. Jalen Hurts was 14 of 28, so 50% completions, 135 yards through the air. He took 1 sack tonight. Saquon Barkley, 26 carries for 83 yards. Tank Bigsby, 4 carries for 34 yards. And Hurts ran the ball 10 times for 31 yards. A.J. Brown had 7 receptions for 49 yards tonight on 11 targets. Jahan Dotson, 2 receptions, 43 yards, including that big 34-yard gain. Nice play there. Dallas Goedert, 2 for 24. Devontae Smith, 1 for 8 on 5 targets, and quite a bit of drops today. There's your stat line on the day, everybody. And real quick, just the team stats. Third down today, Eagles were 4 for 15 on third down, and Detroit was 3 for 13. And obviously the big number, Detroit was 0 for 5 on 4th downs. Birds defense showed up in a big way tonight. There's your stat line. Big Sills, let's start with the defensive side of the ball. I got my list of positives and I got my list of negatives. The positives are filled with the defense, Big Sills. Players, coaches, plays, all sorts of different shit. The negatives are filled with the offense. Let's start with the defense, Big Sills. How about Vic Fangio and what he was able to dial up today? He had Jared Goff in hell out there. Could not complete shit. What'd you see out there from the defensive side of the ball?
Dude, the best football player on the field was Nakobe Dean.
He's amazing.
I mean,
Nakobe Dean's amazing.
He was everywhere on that field. You know, and no disrespect to Jahad Campbell, I never thought that he was a liability when he was on the football field. But the additions of Dean and Phillips have transformed that defense. Just those 2 guys. Yep. And then the fact you got to give up a lot of love for Clint Hurt and how he's coaching up those 2 defensive tackles. You know, they may not be getting home to get in their hand. How many batted passes did Jared Goff?
Yeah, I think Jordan Davis had 3, I think.
And they were critical, too. They were 3rd down passes that they were forcing them to have to do. And, you know, Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down, we knew he was going to be awful aggressive. But, boy, I got to tell you, too, man, I mean, Detroit's defense played absolutely spectacular as well. I got to say this, dude. That Jahmyr Gibbs can freaking ball, man. Is he a player? You get him out in open space. He's special, man. He really is. And to keep him contained, I thought Zach Bond was sideline to sideline all night long.
Yeah, Zach Bond is another player that is just – it's amazing this guy it took him to get to Bama or to Eagles and Vic Fangio to see it, because he is an unbelievable linebacker. Great read, great instinct, great speed, shoots the gaps. I mean, he's amazing sideline to sideline, as you said.
Those 2 guys really controlled the middle of the zone. I mean – they were just absolutely sensational, like keeping the perimeter. Jalen Phillips and setting the edge. How many big pressures did he have? How many big tackles did he have behind the line of scrimmage tonight? And how he played. Absolutely great. The entire defense. And, you know, I thought the secondary, you know, I saw Dory get beat.
Yeah, Dory had a good night, man.
But I thought he and all had a pretty decent night along on the other side, obviously, with Q. I thought they played pretty good back there, man. I didn't think any of the secondary guys, they shut Amon St. Brown down completely tonight. He was just a non-factor in the game.
Yeah, his body language was terrible. He dropped passes. Wasn't there. I mean, I thought he had
I thought he short-armed a couple catches out there, too, where he didn't go for the catches, because I think he was really intimidated by that secondary, that the Eagles and the pressure that they were bringing. I mean, there is no doubt that was just a masterclass on how you play defense, the pressure. Hey, man, how about the way Vic brings pressure, too, and the in-game feeling he has on when you just bring pressure. Jared Goff had nothing going tonight. He was rushed in his passes. He never really had a chance. And I got to tell you, Xander, I think that internal pressure really got to him as the game went on because he wasn't able to step up in the pocket.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they really threw Jared Goff off the whole game. I mean, Sills, it started early. It kind of played out exactly like we said it couldn't, just in terms of if you get the Goff early and move him off his spot. Boy, Pumpkin Goff was out tonight, my friend.
Hey, did I not ask you a question prior to the going into the game? I said, you don't think this is going to be a 13-10 game, do you?
I know.
I mean, this thing almost ended up being a 13-10 ball game, kind of. I'm
16 to freaking 9.
So
is it fair to say this? For all the great Eagles fans listening, thanks for being here, everybody. Hit the like button. The Birds are 8-2. I know you want us all to be super happy. Okay. I did this song and dance last week where we won 10-7. I was all pissed at the offense. I'm not going to do it again, but I will say this. Is it fair for Eagles fans to we got to accept this is who we are. We're a great defensive team, and we are an awful offensive team, and this is how we're going to win games? Every once in a while, you'll get a nice shot play. You'll get some offensive, some plays here and there.
What are you saying? What do you mean?
Overall,
from like last week. What do you mean, man?
Well, you and John were beating up on me last week, and
this is who you are, though, dude.
It is. It's who we are. It's who we are. This is our team. I mean, we got an unbelievable. The good news is that defense is championship defense. If your defense plays like that, this is the beautiful part about it. I don't give a shit who we play. If your defense plays like that, you're going to be in every game. You will be in every game. Now, the offense is pretty shoddy. I agree. I think it's pretty awful, but you're going to be in every game, man, with the way this defense is playing right now.
Bro, right now you've got wins over Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Green Bay, Detroit, and I got to tell you, I still think there's two teams better than you. I think that the Denver Broncos and I think that the Los Angeles Rams are better right now because I think they're more balanced. And before anybody says we're not better than the Broncos, do you know the Broncos just today beat two teams that were in the Super Bowl in February?
Yeah,
they beat the Chiefs and
they're
beat
building that similar resume where people were saying, hey, they're pretenders, but they're beating now enough teams.
Okay, well, they beat both teams that were in the Super Bowl.
You know what doesn't strike fear in me about the Rams? I mean, Sam Darnold throws 4 picks today, and that game comes down to a missed field goal, a 61-yarder at the buzzer. I mean, that game should have been a blowout.
Yeah, well, Seattle's good too, though, dude.
No, Seattle's amazing defensively. That's why they were in that game.
But
I'm just saying, Darnold gives you 4 picks, and you're still in that football game. I think that's a team that we'll be able to manage.
Well, how about this though? Golf was terrible too, and they were still in that ball game.
Yeah, it's fair.
I mean,
by the way, all right. Speaking of that, let's go right there. Nick Sirianni, what are you doing,
bro?
What are you doing?
There's no need to be aggressive there.
Zone. You can easily. This is a team that scored 1 touchdown in 4, damn near 4 quarters. Pin them deep and call it a day.
Correct. And you had the game, and it was over.
I mean, that was
There's no reason for that. Why are you aggressive in non-aggressive moments?
I get it from a sense of like,
they're
no threat on offense tonight and the game, but why go for it? And you're on your own 35-yard, 30-yard, wherever they were. That was the stupidest.
Stupid. And get this again. A second game in a row when it came down to decision-making at the end of the game, either with the players, whatever they did, and now that was clearly Nick. So this makes me believe this really was last week the players. So they went, what was the words everybody in Philly was using, rogue? This is 2 weeks in a row. Going on. And for whatever reason, he kept him in the ball game, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. You cut out a little bit there, so I missed what you said after you said it was 2 games in a row. But no, I agree completely. I mean, Sirianni kept him in the game there, and it's becoming very evident. I mean, Vic Fangio is like, he's the adult in the room, man. He's the adult in the room here with this entire coaching staff. Kevin Patullo, I don't know if he knows from his ass from a hole in the wall when it comes to play calling. Nick Sirianni's making foolish decisions, keeping teams in the game. Vic Fangio's, holding this thing together. So it's pretty amazing the contrast between the coaches on this team.
What do you make of the passing game?
It's awful. What do you mean? What do I make of it? They were 14-28 with 130 yards. Yeah. They're terrible.
It's brutal.
And by the way, because I'm already seeing a trend happen.
It's brutal.
There's a lot of people saying, see, this is what happens when you target A.J. Brown. And I'm like, A.J. Brown didn't get any targets last week. The offense sucked. He didn't get any targets the first 8 weeks of the year. The offense sucked. Now he gets targets, and the offense still sucks, and people want to blame A.J. Brown. The offense just sucks, guys. It doesn't matter who they're targeting. When they targeted Devontae, it sucked too.
That's right. Well, I mean, there's only one common denominator. I'm just saying. I mean, that defense has done a great job. That offense is a liability. They are a liability, man. They are just not a very good offensive football team.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the defense is going to play this good, though, maybe this risk-averse approach makes a lot of sense.
I guess so. I guess so.
Don't turn the ball over, and your defense is giving. I mean, think about this, Sills. You said this before we went on the air. We gave up 9 points to the Lions today and 7 points to the Packers a week ago.
16 points between the Lions and the Green Bay Packers, which is insane.
These were supposed to be two of the best offensive teams in the NFC.
Yes.
And we held them to 16 points. No, not even. Yeah, 15 points. 16 points in the last 2 weeks. Man, this defense is unbelievable, man. So, you know, that's very clear. That's what their MO is and what
will keep other teams in games is the fact that your offense is incompetent right now.
Yeah, I agree. Now let's talk about A.J. Brown.
That's what will keep opposing teams in games.
Let's talk about A.J. Brown a little bit. All right, he's obviously made the stink that he's had the last couple of weeks. He had the meeting with the owner and all sorts of different stuff happening, you know, with the targets. And then they come in and they target A.J. a lot more today. All right, I think he had 11 targets. I mentioned he had 8 catches. 7 catches for 49 yards on 11 targets today with a long of 12. So not necessarily anything downfield. And obviously he's getting scolded for the one play downfield where it looked like he kind of gave up on the route. I will remind everybody he wasn't catching that, no matter how much effort he gave on it. But you still want to see the effort. What you kind of make of that, and did that rub you the wrong way?
I think they just don't have good connection right now. So to me, that's what it looks like. I don't think the quarterback believes in what AJ's doing, and I don't believe that AJ believes the quarterback can get him the football. And I think that it really looks forced. That just looks forced to me on what they're trying to do in the passing game. I mean, dude, whatever they're doing, it's wrong. That is just not a very good offense right now. You bet, man, don't turn the football over, get enough yards in the run game for them to be able to win on defense. You're clearly winning on defense right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it one more time. Your offense is a liability.
It's hard for me to disagree with you. I mean, look at the output we're putting up on offense. We're not really doing a whole lot on offense. So very hard for me to disagree with you. Let's go to Saquon Barkley, Sills. I hate to do this.
How many times have I asked you this all year long going, is there something wrong? How many times have I asked you that? I ask you that for a reason each and every single week. Andrew, I'll ask you one more time. You think there's anything wrong with Barkley?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's becoming a little bit harder to say, hey, it's the offensive line. I mean, look, I don't think the offensive line is doing a great job in the run fits. They're not. Their run blocking is not nearly as good this year, but it's pretty. I mean, now you're looking at, what are we, 8-2? You're 10 games into the season. Saquon's probably averaging still under 4 yards a carry. He's a different player this year. There's no doubt. He's a different player. You know, I think he runs the ball a little bit differently. Looks like he's a little bit less apt to kind of go into tough spots of the field and run real hard. He gives up on plays, but, you know, maybe concedes plays a little bit more. Barkley's not the same player this year, you know, and I think the offense is going to have to adapt.
Gives a way better back than him right now.
Tough for me to disagree.
There's again, I agree. I think that Jurgens' injury has played a factor. I don't think Steen gives you the same stuff that Mekhi Becton gave. And Lane Johnson's now been in and out of the lineup the last couple of weeks, almost a month now, where he's been banged up with some type of injury.
Well, you know, Father Time sells weight for
guys.
nobody.
I mean, I don't even really think Lane is really playing all that hot.
Yeah, he went down tonight too. So look, Father Time waits for nobody. So it's definitely something to consider, you know. But look, how do you feel about the Eagles after this game? I mean, look, this is the team. This was the team to beat. You know, we beat the Packers. We beat the Chiefs. We beat the Rams. We beat all these teams.
Right.
You know, I know it looks ugly, and I'm the first one to say it. I get it.
Okay.
But are you starting to feel like the team just wins games, or are you still feel like they're not going to be a good playoff team? How do you feel about them right now?
I think that they have just as good a shot at winning the Super Bowl as any team in the NFC, and I still think that it's going to be a crapshoot on who wins this thing. Bro, your offense sucks. And if your offense was just average, Xander, I would say Xander, would you not agree? If your offense was average, you're blowing teams out. You're not even average. That's not average.
No,
you're not. I mean, how many 3-and-outs did you have? What were you on third down again? I mean,
third down. I know the Lions were 3 of 18 on third and fourth down. I'll get you our third down number here. We were 4 for 15.
Okay. Again, I mean, you're getting better on defense. It's getting better and better and better in elite on defense. And that offense is just not very good. Your passing game is one of the worst passing games for any. You know what? I'll make this comment to you, Xander. Of all the contending teams on both the AFC and NFC, you have the worst passing game in pro football.
Yeah, but is that proving to be maybe perhaps a little not overrated, but not as meaningful as we once thought?
Hey,
I mean, the team is 8-2. You know what I mean?
Well, ask yourself: do you think you'll need that in the playoffs?
Well, you would think so, but I think the running game is honestly more important for the playoffs.
Well, you don't have one.
You can say to me, Xander, fix one thing right now. If you had a magic wand, fix the running game or fix the pass game. I'll fix the running game every time.
You know what, too? And I got to say this. Let's be 150 yards rushing. That's you're tipping on what's good. That's 150. You had 148 in the game. That's pretty good.
148. Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Okay, that's going to get it done. Let's be candid. Like you said, you were able to run the ball. They weren't able to run the ball, and that was the difference in the ball game.
Yeah, you know what else I think is good? The Eagles are going to need to rely on a little bit more here in the second half of the year. The Hurts runs. I mean, I'm not saying I want them to run 8 to 10 times, but 3 to 5 of those a game, they can really change the way.
How about that one that broke their back, that one design?
On third down? I mean, that was such a great call right there to go to that. I think they got to keep those keep some of those run calls. And I'm not saying go over the top of it. I get it. You don't want to put Hurts in a bad position, but I think those things really open it up for the offense and change the way defenses can play you.
Absolutely. I just think that having that kind of – Xander, okay, so what's the excuse that your offense is so not in sync?
Well, what do you think of Kevin Patullo? He's another name. Again, the Kevin Patullo name is hot on the press. It's on the pressure cooker. Fans all over the globe and all over social media are chirping about Kevin Patullo. How do you evaluate him today?
Well, drop passes and overthrows. That's not on Kevin Patullo.
I agree with that. How many drops do we have today?
I mean, your wide receivers were dropping passes and the overthrows. That's not on anything to do with the sidelines. Guy calls a play and you're overthrowing the passes and you're dropping passes. I mean, dude. Right? You got to be kidding me, man. I mean, Some of that's just on player accountability too. When you get those kind of 3-and-outs like that, you're not going to get any chemistry going, and you're not going to get any continuity. That thing has no rhythm to it. It really doesn't.
No, I agree. Now let's talk about Jalen Hurts a little bit, Sills. I think there's a difference. I'm going to try and be specific here. And to me, there's a difference when you talk about offensive philosophy and kind of the macro view of the offense and why they haven't been a great passing team for a couple of years now. That's not really their MO. And then there's the micro, which is Jalen's just had a bad 2 games. I'm not talking about the whole macro philosophy. I'm talking about just throws that Jalen normally makes. He's just been a little bit more inaccurate. I don't know if it's the cold weather. The wind was obviously pretty bad tonight. Both quarterbacks were off the mark a lot, but I feel like Jalen's had a bad last couple of weeks just for plays that I'm used to Jalen making, over and over again. Do you notice that? Do you see it the same way? Do you think it's more of a macro thing? How do you view that?
Cold weather, well, just in, you play in Philly. So you better get that right, because as you're getting playoff months, that kid needs to play better in cold weather. I just think the passing game is just not on the same page. This is everything that A.J. Brown has been talking about. Nothing was fixed in this ball game. There was a lot of inconsistency and drops and also overthrows. I thought some of the play calling again was not very good in the ball game. But I also think, how many sacks did he take in the game? Did he take 3 sacks in the ball game too? They didn't really get to him. How about some of those times? I mean, Xander, There was one time in the game he had like 4 minutes. He had like 4 seconds in the pocket, and even Collinsworth said, "Dude, he couldn't find anybody with 4 seconds. He couldn't see one guy open." I mean, they're just not very good right now.
Yeah, I mean, I do think they do some disservices to him. I mean, like there's a couple plays in there where you need to convert, and they legitimately had Grant Calcaterra and Kylan Granson blocking Aiden Hutchinson. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, in what world does that make any sense? I don't know what we're doing here. Why do we have these jumbo tight end sets with guys that can't block and can barely catch passes? I don't understand it.
Yep. Some of the personnel decisions that they had in there were questionable as well. But, dude, I mean, it's just not on the same page. And your defense, the way they made Jared Goff look tonight, they made him look like Jordan Love on Monday. I mean, they made him look – those two guys look the same. And that, to me, is what made me do this, Xander. That defense is now beginning to look – with all the losses they had, the addition of Jalen Phillips and Nakobe Dean have added a lot of speed and a lot of toughness to that football team. And look at the two guys that are having 2 good weeks in a row. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are benefiting having a guy on the edge like Jalen Phillips. You see that and how they're playing.
Dude, he's amazing.
And how those two guys are playing.
He's amazing. Down in that red zone, when the lines were close to he burnt Penei Sewell. Like it wasn't like he went right around him on the outside on that 4th down in the red zone. By the way, that was great coverage by Dory Jackson. I think if Dory Jackson had a good night. I know he got beat on the one play, but I think he had a good night.
Absolutely. Especially remember something, that offense was scoring 31 points a game coming in.
I know.
31 points a game. Okay.
Well, they put up 9 tonight.
Think about that. 31 points a game, and they theoretically pitched a shutout, as far as I'm concerned.
How bad? Is it just me, or was Dan Campbell horrendous tonight?
Horrendous. I mean, listen, if he kicks all those field goals, you're on the road. Get the freaking points. Listen, I know you got to be aggressive. I said he had to be aggressive, but dude, if he kicks all 4 of those field goals, he wins the ball game. Get the points. And get this, when you saw that this was going to be a defensive game and you weren't going to score in the red zone, both teams weren't going to score in the red zone. You've got to get points, dude. I mean, I think, listen, if it was a shootout and teams were giving up yardage, no team was the Lions, I thought, played exceptionally well on defense too. I mean, they were awesome. I mean, they held them to what? How many touchdowns did you guys get in the game? 1? You guys got one touchdown in the game? They held the offense to 1 touchdown in the ball game. I mean, dude, at the end of the day here, man, I mean, you got to kick those extra points. I mean, you got to kick those field goals, and you've got to score points when you're on the road like that, especially in bad weather.
Yeah, no, Jake Elliott was a win tonight, man. 3 for 3 on the field goal tonight. Yeah, and big weather like that. No doubt about it. That's a big win. That's a big win for the Eagles, no doubt. Good stuff there. We're going to get to some super chats in a little bit. We appreciate everybody.
Game tonight. What do you make of Jalen Hurts' game?
I thought he was off. I thought, and again, I'm not talking about the macro. I'm not talking about the offensive approach. I'm not talking about the conservative nature. I just think Jalen missed throws tonight that I'm used to him making. I mean, there was that one throw down the sideline to Saquon Barkley. He had Saquon on Jack Campbell. That's the exact matchup you want. Running back on linebacker, totally burnt him, and Hurts missed the throw. That would have been a walk-in touchdown. There was a couple of throws there that I thought Jalen missed that I'm used to him missing. The wind was a factor, obviously. The weather was a factor in the game. But, the one thing I'm taking from the game tonight, as we sit here and, just crossing over midnight, the game just ended a little bit ago, probably about 30 minutes ago. Sills, I get it. The offense is tough. And I get it. Some people are going to be mad at it. Some people don't want to hear the bitching about it. Everybody's got a great offense, Sills, until they play the Eagles.
Yes.
But this defense is good enough to keep us in every game. I don't give a shit who we play.
Okay.
Every game. That was the team, though, that would have exposed us. Okay. That was the offense that would have exposed us.
Well, actually, I think the Rams can too. But like you said here, if that defense can keep us in games, your offense is not winning games for you. It's just not. It's your
No, it's not.
defense that's winning games. And so if you play like that, Xander, it's going to come down to games just like that in each and every single time. If you get a turnover, you lose. Your margin for error with that style of play is zero. It's zero. You don't look, do you agree if you have 2 turnovers in the football game,
game's
you
done.
lose that, it's over, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, they don't turn the ball over. They also don't push the ball downfield very well. But you get the win in prime time. I get it. Everybody's all fired up. It's a good win. You moved to 8-2. The good news is the Eagles do have the inside track now to get the first seed in the NFC. They really should be able to do that considering all the teams they beat at this point. So I feel pretty good about where the Eagles are from that perspective. They got the Cowboys next week, and then they'll have the Bears on Black Friday. That should be a good one too. Bears sitting top of the NFC North right now.
I think that the Cowboy game, if Lane and Cam aren't playing, will be an interesting game. You, in my opinion, right now, I'll tell you that I believe that you're going to win that game. But if you don't have, and you're starting Fred Johnson, and if you're starting Brett Toth in that ball game against the Dallas Cowboys, that's going to be an interesting ball game. Because I don't care what you say. You lose Lane Johnson and you lose Cam, that's a drop in talent.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can.
Fred Johnson, it's not Lane Johnson.
Yeah, you're better equipped to prevail without Cam. Is something they've already had to do this year. Lane is going to be a big one. I mean, Lane Johnson's been a staple on this team for decade plus. So that's going to be a tough one to overcome. Thanks everybody for being here. Hit that like button. We'll take comments in the chat, man. Drop your guys' super chats. A lot of different takes. A lot of people, not feeling good, not feeling satiated by the win because of the ineptness of the offense, and some people just. A win's a win. Move on to the next week. That's the main goal. I get all sides. We'll take all comments.
Well, Xander, again, I think the positive is that the defense is starting to trend. That one of the cheapest defenses, the second cheapest defense in pro football, because of all the Timu signings to take John's line, has absolutely just shined. And the most expensive and the most overrated and the most overhyped and the most underutilized offense in pro football is stagnant right now. It's a ship without a rudder.
Is the no holes defense back, or are we still on no holes?
I'll tell you what, you could call them that this week. Inside of 7 days, you stop the Lions and you stop the Packers. Yeah. You could make that comment right now. Xander, that was sensational. That was sensational on defense tonight. I mean,
it really was
over the top sensational on defense. That was better than Monday.
Has Jared Goff ever in his career had a worse completion percentage? 14 of 37.
He was leading the NFL at 74% coming in,
which is insane, by the way.
Yeah, he was leading the National Football League in completion percentage.
He completed 38% of his passes tonight.
I would say that that's probably his worst night in his career.
14 of 37 tonight, man. Look, I get it. The offense is not good, but this defense is really shaping up to be an unbelievable unit.
Bro, you know what? The week you had 8 quarters of football are against quality football teams.
Yeah, and they're building too on each week. They're getting better and better each week, it appears.